all the way down in Richmond. So take me through the stage 3 tax cuts, because I'm getting hounded with questions about it. But I guess from your perspective, it's a little bit more complicated. So it's not just as simple as, okay, well, you're getting this set salary, you're going to pay this much, you're going to get this much of a tax refund from the ATO. You've got to sort of weigh it up with dividends or, the dynamic between that and salaries. So how's that all going?
Yeah, with the new stage 3 cuts coming in play, it allows a bit more structure for accountants to look at maximising a higher salary, still coming out with a better take-home pay.
Yeah.
It's ultimately looking at the client and what do they want? Do they want to minimise tax, or do they want more money in their back pocket? And how you structure that.
So that's a difficult conversation. So what do your clients typically do? More money or less tax? Which way do they go?
It's a good question. It's pretty spread across the board. Look, for those clients that want to minimise tax, we're obviously going for more of a spread between a mixture of a wage and a dividend if they're under the right structure.
Yeah.
For those that just want more money, you've got to accommodate what does that mean when you're increasing your salary to a higher rate.
Yeah.
It ultimately means more tax.
Yeah, so I was talking to you about this offline. I mean, I'm always searching for that perfect utopia balance between salary and dividend. I haven't got it right to date, but for someone with a high mortgage, high personal spending, they want to live to life, what do you typically say, look, you know what, we're going to have to cover all of that with your salary, or we're just going to have to pay you a dividend plus salary to cover your lifestyle?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, ultimately it's a mixture. Like for people that are structured within a company, we set out a base salary of about 100 to 120.
Yep.
And then ultimately if they need more money, we now pay out for sort of successful businesses, dividends to top them up to what they need.
Yeah. Okay, so that baseline 1 to 120 is sort of the rough benchmark on what most people do, and then if their business is successful in a financial year, then they have the option to sort of ramp that up with a dividend.
Yeah, and we try and make sure that dividends are paid out more progressively throughout the year on a monthly or weekly or fortnightly basis, rather than doing a big lump sum at the end of the year to help her cash flow. You want to progressively pay that out through a strategic plan.
Yeah, okay, so I mean, just for some of the listeners, if you are paying yourself a salary of say 120, how much extra am I going to have in my pocket?
With the cuts coming into play, you're probably circa around $3,000 cash in hand better off than you were with the previous tax rates. And then how that accommodates to then paying out a dividend, well, depending on how much extra money you need and whether you've got fully franked dividends to be paid out, it certainly helps at the end of the day.
So say some of your business owners, there's just too much profit. So obviously a good problem to have. They've paid themselves a salary of 120 initially, and they said, oh, hang on a minute, I've got a bit of money here, I'm gonna buy a bigger home or buy a Porsche or whatever it might be, and they pay themselves that dividend. But maybe there's even more money in the company. So if there's more money in the company and they don't want to do anything stupid, what are they typically doing then?
Yeah, looking at their corporate structure is the first place we look. Now, if there is a trust involved, whether it's the trading entity or owning the shares in their company, we look at trying to distribute more money to what's called as a bucket company. Now, this is a separate entity that we can set up to ultimately minimise their tax on that extra profit and allow them to invest that money in a separate entity.
So what's the instant benefit of doing that? So they just get rid of that tax burden, do they? Is everything capped in the bucket company?
Question. If you take that money out personally, you're obviously subject to marginal tax
45%,
rates. 45 plus Medicare, which is 47. And then ultimately, if you stream that to a bucket company, the max you're going to be paying over there is 30%, less the franking credit. So it's a fairly large difference in terms of that.
Yeah. And long term, obviously, they're using it for wealth creation. I guess it would be a sort of a second super fund, if you will. It sounds like a pretty good strategy. Are there any negatives to doing it?
It's having the cash available to transfer across to this entity is the big one. You don't want to be distributing from a trust to a company without actually flowing that profit to the company. You start getting into what's called as Division 7A loan territory, and ultimately it can be a negative in the long term.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a conversation for another day. Thanks for